So a lot of people they underestimate free tools because they believe that they're hard to find, or they just aren't going to work and aren't going to last. So I'm here to tell you, if you can find good free tools or find thrown out free tools, then get them because you'll save a lot of money. Uh, Here's an example here. This is a really nice big industrial drill press. It's constant duty motor on there. I mean, there's a bit of rust, maybe down at the bottom. Well, not even really. Some paint coming off, that's about it. Everything's smooth. I had to buy a new chuck for it. That was 40 bucks. Cheap chuck, really. Not the greatest, but it'll get the job done. Just press fit on there. But yeah, I got this for free. I got it from actually it was from a mechanics lab in a school. They were throwing it out. I don't really know why. Apparently the thing was just broken. That's what they said. But really, the only thing that was wrong, at least to me, was the fact that this chuck here had a slight wobble to it. Not this one, but the old chuck. Sorry, the old chuck had a wobble to it. So just pop that off, and 40 bucks later, I got myself a really nice, easily $200 drill press. There's another one actually, car battery. Found it. It was thrown out in an alley. The PCB traces on it for the rectified output, so the DC side of it, they had melted actually. So I just repaired that, soldered it up, and it's good as new. Here's another thing. This would be another. Well, not so much anymore with the the advances in battery technology and lightweight electric motors, but this is a pretty key component of your garage or shop, the air compressor essentially, because unless you have all brand new electric impacts and stuff, majority of the time you'll have older tools, which means they're going to be air powered, which means you're going to be going through quite a bit of air. Not to mention you probably have to clean stuff up every once in a while. You use the blow nozzle or something. Doesn't matter what you're using this thing for. You're probably going to be using it quite a bit. Sandblasting. I mean, there's tons of different things you can do with these. But I got this for free in an alley, and I got the tank for free in another alley. So yeah, this I had to do quite a bit of work on actually. This is all I had to solder that. Learn to solder. It's useful. I had to get a new tank fitting here. This is just whatever. It's ugly, but it just took some copper pipe, and then this goes to the pressure switch. I had to get a new pressure switch. Actually, well, I didn't have to get a new one. This was thrown out for some reason with 3 more of these. One was broken and had 2. They're used, I think, but they worked anyways. I took them apart, cleaned them, and this one works fine. It's set to 130-ish psi. In here, sorry, it's probably dark under here. I got this thing hidden away. On the top of this head here, for the air compression chamber, I guess I should say, there's a little reed valve, and what had happened is the reed valve had broken because the top of this was full of sawdust. He was obviously a carpenter of some sort. Fine sawdust. It had snuck through the filter over time, but that was impacting the reed valve in a way where when it would operate, it was actually slowly like turning this way, kind of, and it sheared. There's 2 pins on the end of the reed valve that would hold it in place, and the one pin actually sheared off. So I just cut up a little chunk of metal and put it in, and then straighten the reed valve back out. I, of course, cleaned out the cylinder head and the cylinder from the sawdust, and then I took a look on the crank, and it was good. So kind of cleaned that out with some diesel, washed it out, put some new oil in, dumped that out, and then got some nice proper air compressor oil, put that in there, and it's been it's been really good actually. I've overworked the hell out of this little thing. It's not really like the hugest, biggest air compressor you can get, but I think it's what is this? Let's see what it says here. You can see right on the side, actually, if you can read that nameplate. Oh, sorry, it's 125 psi. That's what I have it set to. But it's an 8-gallon. And this tank here, I just got it daisy chained up here to this tank. And this is bigger than 8 gallons. It's probably together. It's probably an 18-gallon setup. For what I do, it's more than enough. So, yeah, got a little T-fitting here. This is a pressure relief. Just for extra redundancy, I have it on this tank too. Got a regulated line here coming out, and I'll probably put another line, just a big old 1/2-inch line coming out. There's another fitting on that side, just for a big air tool of some sort, sandblasting or an impact or whatever. But yeah, there's a prime example of something that's free, and I use it basically every day I'm in the shop. Not those brand new, or there's something like this combined, setup like this, 18-gallon, probably be $500. Sure, it's not as pretty, but it gets the job done pretty nicely. Here's an invaluable thing. So you got yourself a welder? Well, you can go out and buy steel, or you can go around and get steel. I mean, this is just a little bucket I got just around here for handy stuff, but there's plenty of steel to go around in everyday things that nobody wants. Thin gauge stuff, thick gauge, pipes, you got literally like anything. So those are, you think it's junk, but they can come quite handy in for whatever little project you're doing. So keep that in mind. Another thing, don't buy, if you're starting out, whatever, you want to get yourself a tool set, buy good tools, but do not buy a toolbox. I'll tell you that right now. If you want actually a good toolbox, you're going to be spending a couple thousand at least. At least a couple thousand. The ones in the hardware stores for whatever, say $1,500 for the top, and then like $1,500 for the bottom or whatever. I don't know the prices. There, I would say subpar. They're like, you couldn't even call them decent, I don't think, because they're thinly constructed. The sheet metal on them is pretty terrible. There's a lot of terrible, the drawers are pretty bad. They're just not very good. And don't get caught in the whole snap-on thing either. Unless you've been in the trade for, like, say, 15 years or whatever, don't buy it from them. Don't just get good quality tools. These are great. Stuff like these gear wrench here. Not only are they time savers, but they're just great tools in general. Maximum, I'm a fan of Maximum. I'm not a fan of their screwdrivers. Screwdrivers to buy, don't buy these. I don't know, they're okay. I'll just get a new pair eventually, but new set. If you want to buy any of these are cheap. I have a good pair over there, but do not buy off-brand cutters. They will not do anything against the slightest of material at all. These won't cut anything worth jack. I basically just use them as cheap pliers. But all these I use as cheap pliers, basically. Vice grips, those are great. Get actual vice grips. Can't go wrong with those. You can use them anywhere. Strippers, yeah, these are my cheap ones. Yeah. In terms of hand tools, buy stuff electricians would buy. Again, this is actually all my cheap stuff here. But buy tools that electricians would buy. So Klein, they make great screwdrivers. You can get insulated ones if you want. Those are pretty penny for those. But yeah, Klein tools, they make pretty good cutters and stuff like that. Or even if you just want a nice pair of side cutters, just go get the old Channel Locks brand. Those are, you can't go wrong with those. But yeah, this is my toolbox. It's an old display case for golf clubs and golf heads. You might think it's pretty terrible, but the drawers lock. You just push the door a little bit more and they come out, and then they lock again. Yeah, I use it to store my wrenches, screwdrivers, some specialty stuff in here. and my pneumatic tools, because these, the fittings on there, quick connect, this is where the clubs would go, and you just find a hole and they fit perfectly in the back there. It's yeah. And of course you can always have over here some more tools and toolbox hinges on it and stuff. This is my toolbox setup. I built this for, I don't know, I think it was like $100 maybe. A sheet of plywood really, and some veneer, free veneer I got though. But this stuff is untouchable. I've had countless engines on this thing, and it's not the least bit worn out looking, so this is really hard to scratch, this veneer. And in here I can't really show you, but in there I got some more tools, torque wrenches, compression gauges, stuff like that. But yeah, if you're gonna get a toolbox, build one, or just find kind of a cheapo one that'll just get you by, because it's not worth it unless you really know what you're like. If you really know you're in a trade or something, then I would invest, but still. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Here we go.